Hi, this is Jamie from Gardening It Grows on You, and today we're going to be talking about how and when to prune your azaleas. So the tools you'll need today are some gloves and either some loppers or some hand pruners. I have seen azaleas pruned with hedge trimmers, but I prefer a more natural shape and a natural look for the azaleas, so I have a tendency to go towards the hand tools. I'm going to be showing you with the loppers quickly, but I prefer to do it with the hand pruners just because it gives you a lot more detailed cut and you can control it a lot more. So today I would like to demonstrate how I would go about pruning an azalea. I have an azalea in my backyard that I'm going to show you how I would go through the steps of pruning it. I'm actually going to prune it fairly hard because I didn't prune it last year, and so I want to maintain it for the space that I have, so I'm going to prune it back pretty heavily. When you're pruning, you can think about pruning up to 2/3 of the plant back. That's the ideal range. If you do much more than that, then the plant will have a hard time adjusting. So I want to talk about the ideal time to prune your azaleas. And this ideal time is after they have bloomed in the spring. You can carry this pruning through midsummer, but the ideal time is really that springtime period after they have bloomed. So azaleas bloom on something called old wood. Plants either bloom on new wood or old wood, and basically what this means is that the plant, after they bloom for the season, they start developing the blooms for the next year. So if you go and prune them too late, you will actually be pruning the blooms off of the plant. So that's why the ideal time is directly after they flower. You can get a new flush of growth, and you can also start establishing those blooms for the next season. So the azaleas are going to flush out with new growth, and so when you're making a cut, that's one thing you want to think about is when the new plant growth comes out, what shape am I going to have afterwards? So as I go along and I make cuts, I'm cutting at a point where I would like to have more growth. So that's what I'm doing. I will pass over the plant several times. I don't just cut one side of the plant and then do the other. So I make several passes over the plant. When you are pruning and making cuts, you want to keep the general shape in mind of the plant. So that's why I pass over it sometimes several times, because I may have to go back and take more off. I don't want to take too much off and then have a lopsided plant. Also, some other things to keep in mind depending on where your azalea is. If it's up against a house, you want to prune it away from the house to allow some space in between the plant and the house. Or if you have a sidewalk area or some other plants around it, keep that in mind when you're doing the pruning and the shaping. So here you can see my pile of pruned plants, and you can also see what the plant looks like when it is actually after I'm done pruning. So as you're going along pruning, you are allowing more light to get into the center of the plant. This is going to help your plant be more full, and it's also going to open up the light to help encourage something called latent buds. And those are buds that you just glancing at the plant didn't know they were there, but when they get a prune and some more light, they're going to flush out with new growth. So here my cat Iva is showing off the plant after several weeks of growth. You can still see that the plant doesn't look really full, but those latent buds have started to flush out, and soon we will have a plant that is nice and full again. So after this video, my hope is that you know when to prune your azaleas, and also through my demonstration you're able to see how I pruned my azaleas. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Follow me at Gardening It Grows on You for more demonstrations and advice and education on all types of plants. Happy gardening, now get growing.